Hello, I'm Anja, and this is the second episode of my little sheet music publishing series. In this video, I'm going to show you how to legally arrange copyrighted material. This method does not automatically lead to your sheet music being published. That's why I didn't name it that way. This video is the main reason why I started this series at all. YouTube has found a quite handy way of dealing with this issue in the uploaded videos, but we know that YouTube doesn't cover everything else. So I have seen quite a lot of copyright infringements in the past months, and I think that mostly happens because people don't know that what they are doing is illegal, and they also don't know how to do it legally. And on the other hand, I've seen people who do just nothing because they know that copyright is a delicate issue and they don't know what to do, and that there's indeed a legal way to deal with this. So how do I know? Well, I learned it the hard way. I started arranging when I was about 16 years old. I was singing in our church's pop choir, and for some choir arrangements there's no piano accompaniment available, so I wrote my own. Later I was asked by the conductors to make full arrangements for choir and piano of the songs they like, and of course I did that. Still, nothing happened. Then I wrote an arrangement that sort of everyone liked on the spot. So my home choir performed it. The choir I was singing in while studying mechanical engineering performed it, and still no problems. Then the conductor of the second choir brought this arrangement to a choir who does a little concert tour every year. I don't know exactly what happened, but I think they contacted the publisher who's responsible for this song in the German-speaking area to ask for legal copies. So I got an angry call of that publisher, how I dare to give away a non-authorized arrangement to others. This person was pretty angry, and I'm lucky that they didn't charge me of anything and I got away with it without any more problems. So I tried to find out how to legalize my already made arrangements, and that was not easy. The only thing I knew that I had to get the authorization by the copyright owner, but no one could tell me how exactly you do that. Perhaps I was too stupid to ask the question in the correct way, or it was too obvious to them that they thought it was stupid to ask about it at all. I don't know. So I had to find out all by myself, and so now I try to inform people on what they have to do so they don't have to make the same experience as I did. Before I get to the point on what exactly to do, I will deal with some false opinions on the copyright stuff that people usually have when they don't deal with copyright in the correct way. So first, my video didn't get a copyright marking by YouTube, so the music isn't copyrighted. Well, not exactly. Is the composer still alive or not dead for more than 70 years? Well, then it's copyrighted. If YouTube doesn't recognize music as copyrighted, the simple reason is that no one made a contract with YouTube on that special music. On the other hand, not every marking put by YouTube is correct. So the YouTube copyright stamp is in no way a reliable indication for copyrighted material. Second, I made that arrangement myself, so I'm allowed to sell the sheet music. That is sort of the worst thing you could do. The most important thing about arrangements on copyrighted songs is that never ever will you be the person that sells this arrangement. Yes, sheet music. Unless, of course, you made a contract with the copyright owner that allows you to do so, but that really, really rarely ever happens. Third, I don't sell the sheet music, I give it away for free. At least you don't try to earn money with music written by someone else, but still you're not allowed to give away this music for free, unless you got the permission of the copyright owner, and that, I think, never happens. And fourth, I don't hand the sheet music over to someone else and we pay the collecting society for the performance. These people are the most difficult to convince that what they're doing is illegal, because only part of it is illegal. And that's the thing with the sheet music. Collecting societies only are interested in you paying for the public performance, but they don't deal with sheet music and arrangements whatsoever. So if you perform something illegal, they don't care as long as you pay for it. But perhaps the composer cares. So, did you ask him? Does he like it? Did you pay him for the copies of the sheet music? Making your own arrangement seems to be cheaper than buying a score, but in the end it isn't. You also have to pay for the copies of the arrangement you made by yourself. If there's already sheet music available, you have to use it. You can't just tear it down to avoid paying for sheet music. So, what to do? First, find out who deals with the copyright stuff in your country. Some publishers only act regional, so they make contracts with other publishers to cover the whole world. I have a little example here that I think shows it in a very good way how that works. So I have here the Kabalevsky Cello Concerto, the first one, and on the first page there is a whole list of publishers. So depending on which country you live in, you have to contact a different publisher for this. That is quite easy for classical music, which is still copyrighted, because you always have a score, sheet music or whatever that is published by a normal publisher, and you just have to contact this publisher. If the composer holds the copyright himself, the publisher will hand it over to the composer so he can decide what to do with the arrangement. For most soundtracks that have not been published for public yet, and that applies for sort of 99% of them, you can go with Hal Leonard. I tried to find out some contact data of DreamWorks animation songs for my How to Train Your Dragon arrangements, but I really failed in finding anything. So I contacted Hal Leonard, as they had already published some How to Train Your Dragon arrangements. And this appeared to be the correct address. And if you do some research, you find out that they kind of publish most of the soundtrack stuff. If they're not responsible for the certain soundtrack you arranged, I think they will tell you. And perhaps they'll tell you whom to contact instead. Next, ask the copyright owner whether there's already an existing arrangement like the one you'd like to make before you make the arrangement, because that way you can avoid making some work for nothing. And also some publishers like to be asked before you do anything, because they want to avoid to have two almost identical arrangements. Then you should try to get the original score For this topic, my Kavalevsky concerto is quite a bad example because that was a piano reduction, which is already an arrangement. So you should get the full score to do that. For most soundtracks you can't buy the score, so you will have to hear that down. Then you write your arrangement, make a proper, professional looking layout and create a PDF from it. This PDF has to be sent to the copyright owner, and in the email you ask for authorization of what you did, like this. Don't forget to mention that you want a copy of this, or if you have been asked by someone else to do the arrangement, you should mention this in your email. And then you have to wait patiently for about 4 weeks. Sometimes it's faster. I think the fastest authorization I got was after 2 hours, but that is really rare. Then eventually you get an email back that either asks for some corrections you have to do if you want your arrangement to be authorized, or they tell you that your arrangement hereby has been authorized. If the publisher doesn't want to sell your arrangement, he will just send you the copies and an invoice and you're done, and there's nothing you can do about it. That happens when the publisher doesn't see any chance in selling this arrangement. If he wants to publish it, there are 2 things that could possibly happen. If you've written something, for example, for choir, where you need quite a lot of copies, it might happen that they give you the copies for free, but also don't give you a contract. That happens when the publisher thinks he can sell the arrangement, but not in high numbers. That happened to me just a few weeks ago. I agreed because you get about 2 cents per sold copy. So he has to sell 1,250 copies to make it a bad deal for me, and I thought that this was very unlikely to happen. In the other cases, most cases, you get a contract you have to sign. Read it carefully so you don't just sign something you later regret. When that is done, all people that are interested in your sheet music can now buy it from this publisher. If you had to deal with the composer yourself, you both have to figure out a way how to deal with it. Most likely he or she will sell it and reward you with a commission. I usually want 10% of what the composer gets, because when I go with the publisher, it's also sort of 10% of the composer's commission. What's special about arrangements and copyrighted material is that after arranging, you hold part of the copyright. That results in the situation that neither of you can do anything with the arrangement without the permission of the other party. A publisher can't sell your arrangement without your permission, and you can give it away without the permission of the publisher either. So he also has to ask you for permission if he wants to use the arrangement otherwise. I still remember when I got asked for such a permission for the first time. The publisher wanted to use an arrangement I made in a songbook for choir. So he asked me whether he's allowed to do this or not. I hadn't realized at that time that he really had to ask me for permission, so that was totally weird for me to be asked that question. But hey, you get used to that stuff. There are other advantages of doing things the legal way, not only that you avoid getting into trouble. The first thing is that you're taken seriously because you know what to do and you're willing to act according to the rules. Second, it's a little step into the world of arranging, composing, publishing, which might be helpful in the future. Because third, it can get you a job. Not in the way that they employ you, but to participate in some arrangement projects the publisher currently does. Or he stumbles across your own music and asks you whether he may publish it. I talked about that songbook earlier. That was my first job of that sort. And I got it because I was doing things the official legal way. I wasn't asked by the publisher himself, but by the person, the arranger he put in charge of this project. And I will always be grateful to that arranger for giving me a chance. If you saw the other video about publishing your own music, you might remember the remark on publishing arrangements and copyrighted songs with S&P Press. There are some limitations to that, that's why I made this video. S&P Press can't be used for all music that is not listed in their Arrange Me program and for all big ensemble stuff like orchestra, marching band and so on. On the other way, I recommend to use S&P Press for all the arrangements that can be published with it, because some publishers don't answer authorization requests, so the only chance is to go with Arrange Me. Also, you have a guaranteed publication of your works and you get much more money than you'd get the official way. So if you already did an arrangement, wait for the next video where I am going to explain how to use S&P Press for publishing arrangement of copyrighted material. So that's enough talk for today. Bye!